Coming up, a face-off between the venerable Cessna 150 and 152. Which is the best?
And honoring the best of the best in flight training. An update on avgas.
And this is more than just a flying car. Is it real? AOPA Live this week begins in just a moment.
It's been called the most sophisticated single-engine airplane ever. But to the people whose loved ones are alive today, it's called a lifesaver. The Cirrus Airframe Parachute System, only from Cirrus Aircraft.
Honoring the most critical element of aviation. Hello everyone, and thanks for joining us. I'm Melissa Rudinger.
And I'm Tom Haynes. The most important person in pilots' careers is their flight instructor. Flight instructors and flight schools are the gateways to success, or sadly, sometimes the gate that crushes the dreams of a budding aviator.
So that's why AOPA honors the best of the best.
Those embodiments of creating confidence in an environment that's uncertain, leaving the ground and having somebody say, you can do it, you can go by yourself, is a monumental moment in aviation. It's one of the things that nobody ever forgets, but somebody trusted you that you're going to come back down and do it safely, enjoy it with a big old smile, and never forget that day. And for that, we owe the great flight schools of America that exist for their confidence in aviators to help grow, take some risk, but have a whole bunch of fun and instill this thing we call aviation.
This week at AOPA headquarters, we presented the 4th Annual Flight Training Excellence Awards. We asked students and pilots to review their flight training experiences, and that led us to nearly 800 flight schools and more than 1,500 instructors whose students said they were the best.
And from that pool of excellence, we picked the best flight school of 2015. Paul Harrop reports.
Okay, the airspeed coming up. Okay, bring that note. Now you can use it.
It's a perfect day for an intro lesson in flight, and this future pilot has picked the perfect school to come check out.
Okay, bring that up. Back towards you.
AeroVenture Institute is doing a lot of things right.
We started in 2010. It's a family-owned operation, so it's my father, my mother, and I. I'm the president and CEO of the company. Deborah Allen, my mom, is the vice president of operations, and Bill Allen, our chief instructor.
That family atmosphere is a driving force behind the business.
It's been really like a home atmosphere. Come in, I feel like part of the family.
Sam Fowler earned his private pilot certificate earlier this week.
Really, it comes down to flow, and the school has it. It just flows really well. It's not mechanical. It doesn't feel step by step. Everything just kind of, it goes, and then you get there. So it's more like going down a river than climbing some stairs. When
you walk in the door, it's very warm and cozy and welcoming. Yet at the same time, we are a professional operation. Our instructors do wear uniforms. A certain segment of our student population, the younger kids in the high school, the high school programs also wear uniforms.
AeroVenture Institute partnered with a high school program to allow students to earn 6 college credits while working towards a pilot certificate.
The class is every Saturday morning, so we're just coming for that and take it. And then the online course is quizzes and lessons that we have to read and take on our own time and get that done by the set deadlines.
It's hard work, but the flight time and college credits motivate students like Jason Smith.
It's good to know that I have a head start towards the college credits and all that kind of stuff.
And the family atmosphere gives comfort to Jason's mom.
When you're involved with a group of people like the Allens, it is a family, so you get that feeling and you know that he'd be well cared for and taken care of, and he's learning what he needs to learn, and he's got people looking out for him.
And that pretty much sums up the Allen family flight training philosophy.
Just try to provide the best service, the best flight instruction, and the best atmosphere that we possibly can, and apparently that's just catching on far and wide.
Oh, what do you think? You coming back a second time?
Definitely. In Southbridge, Massachusetts, Paul Harrop, AOPA Live.
Thanks, Paul. Of course, an excellent flight school has to have excellent instructors.
Individual flight instructors are crucial to bringing people into aviation. And this year, AOPA honors Todd Shellnut, a CFI and FAA designated pilot examiner from Atlanta, Georgia.
Probably the best thing I like about flight instructing is the view from my office every day. It's just one of the greatest things to me, to be able to know that that passion is still strong within me, and that every day when I do go flying, it never gets old. A lot of people like to say that pilots are a student, and I like to refer to mine as my clients. Once I do their training, and I've trained with them, they're my student for life, or my client for life. You can't just be that person that when the client shows up for their lesson, you know, that the instructor's like, hey, go pre-flight, I'll be out there in a minute. And I think you need to have more of a rapport where you kind of do a little bit of coffee first and have a little chit chat, and then have that kind of a opening up and then go right into the lesson. So when I send someone solo for the first time, some of the joys that I get out of that is seeing the pressure for the student. And that sounds kind of weird, but it makes me believe at that particular time that the student is really thinking, and they're really trying to do a good job, and they're really trying to make sure that nothing happens and that they do safe. And because I think that's a technique that over a period of time, a lot of pilots lose that ability. As long as I've been a pilot, everybody's just had check ride-itis. When I was offered the opportunity to be an examiner, I was like, wow, how great is this? I can really actually now have a direct input on how someone looks at a check ride. I really like working with people. For me, when I'm working with a student pilot, and I see that proverbial light bulb go off on top of their head, that's what kind of keeps pushing me forward to try to learn better and do better as an instructor, to keep seeing that same result happen over and over again.
Wow, congratulations to Todd and AeroVenture Institute. And Tom, AOPA gives these awards to encourage the best out of the flight training industry, and certainly a good flight school and a good instructor are key. How about your experiences?
Yeah, I mean, my primary flight instructor, I was like 15 when I met him, and we lost him to cancer a few years ago, and I can still hear his voice in my head every once in a while when I'm flying. So yeah, it's pretty neat, the impact that a person like that can have. How about you?
Yes, well, I was in high school, and my first instructor was a World War II pilot, or a veteran, and actually had learned in Stearman's. And so what a great experience as a young person to get that kind of experience in the cockpit with an instructor.
Right. Yeah. All right, well, here's a case where good flight instruction might have made a difference. The Indonesian government has released its report on the AirAsia accident last year. And with almost all accidents, investigators concluded a string of factors contributed to that accident, but the final factor was the crew's failure to react properly to a stall. The Indonesian captain yelled to the French co-pilot to pull down, which led to confusion. The airline didn't do upset recovery training because the fly-by-wire Airbus supposedly can't be stalled. The crew, however, had disconnected the flight computer in an attempt to deal with a problem with the rudder.
So being able to recognize a pre-stall condition and prevent entry into a stall is an important part of a pilot's tool belt, as is knowing the proper recovery procedures from an inadvertent stall. The AOPA Air Safety Institute has 3 online videos about stalls. You can find them by clicking on the Education tab on AOPA.org. Use the topic filter on the left side. Click on Safety and Education, then check the stall spin box and hit the search button.
Flying car developer TerraFugia is now getting into the drone business, sort of. This week, the company announced the FAA had granted them an exemption to operate a 1/10 scale version of their TFX vertical takeoff and landing flying car. The full-size version is planned as a 4-seat hybrid aircraft that can fly itself. If their engineering is half as good as their graphics, this could be really cool.
And here's another drone prototype, Amazon's delivery drone. It's another kind of hybrid with rotors for lift and a pusher prop. Amazon says this design is for deliveries within 15 miles, and they said it can sense and avoid obstacles and other aircraft. Other designs are in the works. Not to be outdone, both Walmart and Google are said to be developing delivery drones as well.
Coming up after the break, new resources for flying clubs.
And an epic dogfight to determine which is best, the 150 or the 152.
Brightline, instruments for professionals.
Welcome back. You're watching AOPA Live this week.
An update now on the progress towards an unleaded avgas that could replace 100 low lead. The FAA is wrapping up the first phase of testing of candidate fuels formulated to serve the general aviation piston fleet of the future. They've heated and cooled test rigs to extreme temperatures, run fuel samples through specially designed rigs, replicating aircraft fuel systems, and measured ignition temperatures and checked for materials compatibility. Then the testers will winnow down the candidate fuels to go through a second phase of testing beginning next year. That phase will include real-world testing in a variety of aircraft and should be done by 2018.
And a successful test for the Blue Origin rocket. That's a space tourism project by Amazon chief Jeff Bezos, who apparently does this when he's not working on that drone project. The suborbital rocket reached the edge of space and then landed safely, making it the first successful test of a reusable booster rocket. Rival SpaceX, you may recall, has been trying to land their rocket as well without success so far. However, the SpaceX machine is bigger and more powerful since it's designed to launch a payload all the way into orbit. And while not quite in space, NASA's fleet of WB-57 serves an important role. The WB-57 is a cousin of the U-2 and operates at altitudes above 60,000 feet. The aircraft is used for a wide range of scientific missions, including photography, hurricane flights, and atmospheric data collection. The pilots of these airplanes wear a complex suit made by David Clark, yep, same one who makes your headset. We had a chance to meet the pilots and see the suits in action. You can find the story at aopa.org.
And you'll find some brand new resources to help flying clubs get up and running. Free scheduling software is among the suite of new tools and benefits.
One of the pieces when we researched back in 2012, Flying Club said they wanted scheduling software. That it's one of the more expensive items for them to do on their own, and that scheduling software that we've reached out to allows them to have up to 6 airplanes or a combination of instructors and airplanes up to 6. So it could be 3 instructors, 3 airplanes, 1 airplane, 5 instructors, and it's completely free to flying clubs.
There's a new resource library for anyone interested in starting a flying club or growing an existing one. There's a checklist for starting a club, sample bylaws, articles of incorporation, and other useful documents. And for folks looking to join a flying club, the newly updated AOPA Flying Club Finder. And you can find it all at the URL there on your screen.
And speaking of flying clubs, airplanes like AOPA's reimagined 150 and 152 are popular choices to start a club with. But which one is best? We took these lightweight airplanes head-to-head to find out.
In this corner, weighing in at 1,081 pounds, the AOPA 2015 Sweepstakes Grand Prize. November 152 Uniform Charlie, the world's first reimagined Cessna 152. And the challenger, weighing in at a svelte 1,060 pounds, a reimagined Cessna 150. Both of these bright yellow airplanes are in tip-top condition. They were both born in Wichita, Kansas, trained in Afton, Wyoming, where they've been remanufactured to as-new standards.
Now, what do you expect from this matchup?
Well, the Sweeps 152 packs a mighty punch due to its bigger engine, a 110 horsepower Lycoming. So I'd expect it to come out swinging in round 1, the takeoff and climb. The 150 is about 25 pounds lighter and has an extra 10 degrees of flaps. So look for it to have the upper hand during slow flight and stalls.
And what about the pilots flying today?
Well, they're both pretty marginal, no advantage there.
Well, conditions here at the National Aviation Community Center in Frederick, Maryland are absolutely perfect as these 2 Bantams taxi out to the runway.
And the Sweeps 152 is pulling away as it surges ahead on climb out.
Yes, the 152 definitely accelerates and climbs faster. Round 1 goes to the 152.
Now for the speed test. At redline RPM, the 152 is noticeably faster.
So round 2 also goes to the Sweepstakes 152. The champ is off to a great start, but we're about to play to the 150's strengths, slow flight and stalls.
And look at this! The Sweepstakes 152 stalls first!
A clear victory for the 150. Round 3 goes to the 150.
We've got a real fight on our hands as we go into the turning contest, and look at those airplanes chase each other. The 150 is gaining rapidly on the sweepstakes 152, and look, it's moved all the way to the 152's 6 o'clock position.
The 150 wins round 4, so we're even as we go into the final test, approach and landing.
Both airplanes are on final approach, but the 150 with 40 degrees of flaps has a lot more drag. It really decelerates.
And they touch down and roll out together. Looks like round 5 is a draw.
Yes, it is. Let's hear it for these two great trainers.
And that'll do it for us today here at the National Aviation Community Center. Look for the Sweepstakes 152 to be awarded to its winner during the first quarter of 2016. All AOPA members are automatically entered into the drawing, so good luck to you.
It's quite a competition. I think Paul Harrop, the announcer, had the most fun there, though. Of course, the real strength of these airplanes is how fun they are to fly. You can read more about the reimagined 150 and 152 in the December issue of AOPA Pilot Magazine. And, by the way, that yellow 152 could be yours in the AOPA You Can Fly sweepstakes. Just make sure you've renewed your membership before the end of the year.
And that does it for us this week. I'm Melissa Rudinger.
And I'm Tom Haynes. Hope to see you back here next Thursday for another edition of AOPA Live This Week.